faces. Worst generation, cooking up a feast while he's turning through the pages. Theories that he's making, from showing it insane and blocked in, analyzing using observation. Yeah, observation. Rambling addiction.
Hey, it's me, StrawHatLucas, Captain of the Last Ark, and welcome back to Rambling Addiction. In this week's episode, as you could probably guess from the thumbnail and title, we will be talking about Dr. VEGAPUNK. Dr. Elias VEGAPUNK. His name is not Elias. I'm lying. But yes, I'm here to talk to you today about Dr. VEGAPUNK and every single thought I have about him. Actually, it's really just two points that I'm going to try to make here. Like I'm going to actually make a point in one of these videos.
Ooh, self-burn. Those are rare.
And that is how I feel about Dr. VEGAPUNK before he gives this speech where he's about to reveal the history of the world, possibly. And then I'm going to give you what I think he's going to reveal with his message. So, Dr. VEGAPUNK. Ooh boy. What do I say about him? Them? There's 7 of them. There's one thing. No, but seriously, the first thing that I want to mention about Dr. VEGAPUNK is his moral ambiguity. And by which I mean, we don't know what side of the field he stands on. Of course, he does these things in the name of peace, like creating bullets that allow flowers to grow when the shells hit the ground. But then on the other hand, one of them created the mother flame. Like that happened. Do you remember Lucia? Roll clip. That country don't exist, baby. Not anymore. Why? Because of VEGAPUNK. Actually, it was because of Emu and the Gorse. But I digress. Blame aside, the Mother Flame was created by VEGAPUNK. Even Dragon commented on, only one person could have made this, and VEGAPUNK would not have done this. I hate to burst your bubble, Daddy. He did. And yes, I just called Dragon Daddy. That's neither here nor there. We'll get to that in another video. So yeah, and then you have all the, human experimentation he does. Let alone what he did to Bartholomew Kuma. Think about the implications of what it takes to create a seraphim. Yes, you need the DNA of a person to not only mimic their devil fruit, but to mimic their entire body. Hence the 7 warlords of the sea having little baby versions of them running around the seas right now. Actually, they're not running around the seas, it's only on Egghead, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I believe I know what you are saying.
Also, we haven't seen all of them, so all of them might not be on Egghead. Before I get off topic, so you have the implication of what it takes to build a seraphim, and you think to yourself, what kind of person in a moral mindset would think that this is an optimal solution? Not only that, but with how much distrust VEGAPUNK has for the world government, even with working for them, why would he make them these weapons? What benefit does it serve not only mankind, but himself? Because it seems like a lot of his scientific progressions are for mainly himself and the betterment of men. That's kind of an afterthought. I've realized this kind of with him. And that's what I'm saying is I do not know where I stand when it comes to Dr. VEGAPUNK. Take the unlimited food machine, for instance. I guarantee you that man, when he first created that, wasn't thinking, think of how many hungry people I can feed. He was thinking, can I do this? Because that is what VEGAPUNK's main line of thought has been for every single experiment that we've heard of his that he's done. The only experiments of his that I've seen that, I don't know who it benefits, at all, is the way he recreates devil fruits. The only benefit that really has is making weapons out of the powers within the fruits. And as we've seen, he cannot mimic Logia types, which are the best types of devil fruit. And take it from me, I rank devil fruits. That's a plug, go subscribe to the Last Ark YouTube channel. So yeah, you use these devil fruits to either A, put them in seraphim, or B, put them in objects, which, come on Oda, give us the answer. How did VEGAPUNK do that? Or if you're a Gorse member, put them in a baby. And the only result you can really get is these powers being used for nefarious purposes. I could really see this being beneficial though to society if he took someone like Moncherie's Heal fruit, or like the Shiryu no Mi, I think is what it's called, Chiryo or something like that. But yeah, that's the heal fruit. So it heals people. So if he could manipulate that power and make it again, he could realistically improve medicine throughout the entire world. But that's not where his mind is at all with it. And that's where that moral ambiguity comes up. Because he doesn't think like, hey, let's go get a devil fruit that can actually benefit society. He's thinking, which devil fruits can I put inside of these robot children that's going to be the most devastating to the opposition? And half the time, the opposition isn't just pirates, it's the people around these pirates as well. As we saw in Sabaody, when the pacifista is shot, it might have hit that pirate target, but it also hit civilians as well. So Vegapunk wants peace, but at the same time, my man is brewing weapons of war. And this is where the confliction really comes in for me, because we've seen Bartholomew Kuma's flashback. We've seen that Vegapunk does have a heart. The last thing he wanted to do was wipe Kuma completely. He had experienced how much love Kuma had for his daughter. And we saw the humanity within Vegapunk in that iconic image of him flipping the switch on Kuma. I'll throw it up on screen. It's heartbreaking. And we see that with Sentomaru, he does care about people. And when he talks to Dragon on Ohara, he speaks of wanting peace and to make sure that this never happens again. But it's because of him that it keeps happening. Because of the scientific advancement, he's just handing the world government. It's almost like he's letting his naive trust in how the world is supposed to be overshadow his understanding of how the world is. And it's upsetting, if I'm being honest, because within the world of One Piece, someone like Vegapunk should be doing everything he can to help the world. And hopefully, with the message he delivers, he can. And maybe he'll undo those 2 regrets that he says he has. Because if I'm being honest, he should have way more. Creating the pacifista alone should be like 16 regrets. How many civilians were harmed in the attacks of those pacifista against pirates? Lelucia is gone because of your inventions. You should have way more regrets, my guy.
I'm not your guy, buddy.
I digress, though. I'm not here to slander Vegapunk, and I don't dislike him as a character. If I'm being entirely honest, he's been one of my favorite aspects of Egghead. And I haven't even mentioned his satellites yet, which I know are reflections of him, which just brings up a whole other slew of moral ambiguity, especially since he has an evil part and then a violent part. You'd think those would be one and the same, but for him, they aren't. Lilith, Atlas. Lilith, though? Anyway, before I start to ramble in the wrong direction, I'm not here, as I said, to slander Vegapunk. And in fact, I think he will redeem himself with whatever he is about to tell the world. So, let's get to my second point of this video. What do I think Vegapunk is about to reveal to the world? Nothing, it's a troll. Goodbye, we'll see you next week. Okay, so let's think about what he has already said within his message. Said some stuff about, he isn't here to judge who is good and who is evil. Said something about having 2 regrets. I already talked about that a little bit. Actually, on the 2 regrets thing, do you think his 2 regrets are what he did to Kuma and the Mother Flame? So after that whole thing about, the intent of people and the 2 regrets he has, he then says the most interesting line in this entire chapter of 1113. I'm gonna read it straight up to you guys. I will not apply the labels of good and evil at all, in fact, because I understand too little about him to begin with. I'm gonna come back to that line in a second. So after he says this, though, is when he says, this world is going to sink to the bottom of the sea. Now, if you're a One Piece theorist, when you saw these lines, you were like, oh my god, so many of us were right. Because flooding the world has been a theory within the community long before I even joined the community. So to see it play out in the story is absolutely bananas. And that has nothing to do with the points I'm trying to make. I just want to say, if you did call the world being flooded, good job, y'all. Good job. Because I still think it's going to get drained and that the seafloor is the original level of the land. Come at me. So anyway, what do I think he's going to say more with his message? Well, I think for one, we're going to find out the name of the ancient kingdom. Because they say he's carrying on the will of Ohara. And the last time we saw the people of Ohara, well, One, they were on fire. But most importantly, the last thing Clover said was the name of the ancient kingdom. So I really feel like that's a given. Like, we're going to get that information. And if not, you come back here and tell me I'm wrong. Secondly, I think he's going to try and absolve Kuma of his crimes. Maybe showing the world that like the government made him do this or something. I don't know, because he has 2 regrets, remember, and I think one of them is Kuma. So I think he will try to absolve Kuma of the tyrant moniker that he has gained. I also think he may tell us a little bit more about Joy Boy and what his original goal was. Maybe the him he is talking about is Joy Boy or Nika, to that effect. And that Nika must flood the world so that it can be cleansed. But that also kind of applies to Emu. Is Emu trying to flood the world so that it can be cleansed? Are they trying to prevent the flood? And maybe they're destroying these islands to create giant holes so that the sea level will sink. I don't know. And I say that often enough that Oda is a master at writing, because every time he answers even the smallest bit of our questions, we get a million other questions. And I say that so often, it's kind of a meme between my friend group. They're like, oh, here comes Lucas saying Oda answers our questions with questions. But it's true. I think whatever Vegapunk tells the world, it's going to have irreparable repercussions, either good or bad. And whether when he says him, he's talking about Nika or Emu, one of them will be seen as the villain of this story. And maybe the flooding of the world is more of a metaphorical sense and not a literal. That said, we do know Fishman Island must be destroyed. So maybe when it comes down to it, the flooding is just part of the process. Maybe Nika, Luffy, has to flood the world, break the Grand Line to drain some of the water, and that will help things kind of return to normal. And by breaking the Grand Line, he would destroy Fishman Island. It's hard to say though, genuinely. It's hard to say. Like I said, I definitely think we are getting the name of the Ancient King. And that's crazy for me to say. Guys, we're that close to the end of One Piece. Like, I'm not ready. So in closing, is Vegapunk a good guy? I don't know. But that's okay. When it comes down to it, he's one of the least cut and dry characters within One Piece. And hopefully, by the time Egghead Island ends, we understand him just a little bit better. And if not, he makes for such great fuel for character analysis. Because you can never really tell what his motives are. Vegapunk was an enigma for so long in the series, 25 years. And even after his introduction, he remains an enigma.
A riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma.
I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think about Vegapunk? Do you think he's a good guy? Do you think he's a bad guy? Do you think he's probably one of the most morally gray characters in One Piece? Do you think he's not that interesting at all? Let me know your honest opinion down in the comments below. But yes, until next time, I've been StrawHatLucas, Captain of the Last Arc. You can find me over on the Last Arc YouTube channel or on the Din Din Kushi YouTube channel, where I do some theories from time to time. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone who tuned in to Session 1 of Group 14's TLA One Piece D&D. Man, that title is a mouthful. Either way, our group will be back to play some more One Piece D&D soon. It's kind of a rough thing to schedule right now, but hopefully we can bring out another stream for you guys. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Speaking of the next one, always comment down below if you want me to talk about a certain anime or manga. Or maybe if it's something I haven't read, recommend me one. I always love to hear your guys' opinions on things. But yes, I'll see you guys later, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.